Grant County Board of Commissioners meeting is now in session. Commissioner Wright will lead us in prayer, and Commissioner Bardsley will then lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Father, we just thank you for today that you've given us this day, beautiful sunshine day here in October. Lord, we just ask you to be with us as we do the business of the county. Give us wisdom, give us strength. Protect all of our people who are first responders and doing the great job that they do, Lord. Just put a hedge of protection around them. And we'll just give this day up to you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, all three commissioners are present. And we will move into claims, payroll, minutes. For claims dated October 15th, 2024, general fund was $281,710.61. Other, $271,268.01. Highway Department, $60,608.36. For a grand total of $613,586.98. There's a pre-approval given by myself on 10/11/2024. And we could just approve the second one all at the same time, correct?
Actually, no, it's actually today.
We could actually do
Yes.
Right.
singles pre-approvals with this particular one.
All right. So we have three single pre-approvals. On October 16th, 2024, amount paid was $99,030 to Kelly Chevrolet. And then we have two on October 17th, 2024. One in the amount of $547.66. One in the amount of $126.24 paid to Mr. Kevin Hicks for expense reimbursement. I will look for a motion to ratify those pre-approvals. If there's no questions or discussion.
I would move to ratify the pre-approvals that were given for the invoice edit reports 10/15/24 as well as 10/16, 10, and 10/17 as presented.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Bardsley, second by Commissioner Wright, to ratify the previous aforementioned pre-approvals. Any other questions or discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And then we have claims dated for today, 10/21/2024. General Fund, $153,294.11. Other, $51,773.56. Highway Department, $189,991 for a grand total of $395,058.67. If there's no questions or discussion, I will entertain a motion to approve that.
Motion to approve invoice edit reports dated for 10/21/24.
Support.
Motion by Commissioner Bardsley, second by Commissioner Wright. If there's no other questions or discussions, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. That will take us to payroll number 21. Pre-approval was given on 10/9/2024 for pay dated 10/11/2024. Gross amount was $640,729.01. I will look for a motion to approve that, please.
Move to ratify payroll pre-approval for payroll 21 as presented.
Support.
Motion by Commissioner Bardsley, second by Commissioner Wright. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. that is taken care of. I believe we have minutes to approve, so we will show the Weights and Measures monthly report. We will show that as received unless there's any discussion or question on that.
Just a comment. I don't know if you've ever rode with Mark. I've rode around with Mr. Fleming, and it's amazing what all he does. And it's amazing how many scales are in the state, in the county. I mean, every grocery store aisle for produce and stuff. He's got to do all that. So shout out to him for all the work that he does and the efficiency that he does. I don't know how one guy does all that.
Absolutely.
I really don't.
We will move on to communications and board updates. Elected officials, board, special committees. Mr. Jackson, saw him earlier. There he is.
Good morning.
Morning.
Sure.
So as you're aware, we did extend the burn ban. It is still on. The drought is not getting any better. We don't see any relief really in sight in the next 10 days. A report from the Weather Service this morning was no meaningful precipitation in at least the next 10 days. So the drought monitor that comes out every Thursday, we really use that as our gauge to try to decide when we could potentially lift that, but so far we've been doing pretty good in the county. We appreciate the public's help in that and obeying that and doing what they can. However, we've still had a couple incidents, excuse me, of standing corn on fire, combines catching fire. That's always an exciting time, and so luckily so far we've been able to maintain that, but that can quickly get out of hand. The wind has been our saving grace there, so the lack of wind, I guess. But other than that, we're doing well in the county. Be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Are you hearing anything from any of the water plants around the county, like Marion or Sweets or Swayze? Anybody having water problems, not being able to grow enough water?
Because most of, almost all of them, I believe, use wells.
Right.
So yeah, subsurface water is really good. Marion Utilities really has a great abundance of water, and that's unfortunate actually because of the lack of industry. But sure, we're doing well there. No issues. Rivers and creeks, we don't typically use them for water supply in this county. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Kane, you fall under the category of elected officials. Do you have anything for the good of the order today?
Regarding the cemetery, we still have the attorneys conference set for the 28th, and then I contacted Washington Township trustee Teresa Baker to start the conversation for a fire territory for the fire departments. So I've been kind of looking at it and studying it, and I think that would be a good move to make. It's been brought up many times before with the previous trustee, but not looked into, but I think it's a good move. So we're going to start that conversation and work towards that direction. So thank you.
Thank you. Madam Auditor, I overlooked you again. Our regular meeting, so yeah.
The only thing I have to report is the council did approve and adopt the 25 budget.
Okay.
So that's one thing I have.
Perfect. Anything else? IT report.
I don't really have anything for me specifically, although, I mean, I'm kind of related to items 4 and 6 on the agenda. One of them is for the professional services agreement for the health department. And the other one is for the core reform grant with Chris Cunningham. So I don't know if we just want to wait till you guys get to those items, or if you want to address them now, we can do that as well.
We'll just wait till we get.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep. So,
Anything else?
nope, that's it. All right.
Mr. White?
Morning.
Morning.
Update you on a few projects. I did submit last week our closeout letter for paving projects for 2024-1 community crossing grant that we applied for. So submitted all that paperwork and documentation, and then we'll get a letter back from the state closing that out. On the bridge inspection for 2025 to 2029, United Consulting Firm was our top firm for the bridge inspection, so I've notified them of that and have started getting negotiations going with them on that. I believe we had 7 total consulting firms, so it's pretty close to scoring, but they were top, so I've notified them and we're supposed to get together and I'll get with you guys. Just to update you, that's a thing that once we do get the contract, the state has to approve it before it's awarded, so we'll look at it, then we'll give it to the state. As long as the state says it's all right, then they'll allow us to continue, so working on that. 38th Street Bridge is moving along quite well. We're hoping to pave or do the concrete overlay maybe the 30th of this month. So we're working on that. And so that project seems to be going pretty smoothly, so knock on wood. So I do have I have a gentleman that emailed me the other day about Illinois Street south of 39th. It is plotted, but it's not part of our roads that we take care of. But there's quite a bit of holes and damages, and I didn't know if you wanted me to try to at least make it so we can drive through there.
Is that over by the VA?
Yes, yes.
Is that gravel?
Well, I think it used to be at one time asphalt, but I didn't know if you want me to try to fix it so they could at least get by. Like I said, it's not in our road inventory. That's why we have never done nothing with it. I mean, it is plotted a street. But
This isn't
It's
the one I sent you.
no,
Okay.
I was gonna bring that up in a minute, but
Okay.
So is that's not in the city limits of Marion, correct?
No.
So, yeah, that's what I thought.
like I said, it's in the county, but it's not, quote, on the highways inventory.
Right.
So that's why we have never taken care of it, but I didn't know if you gentlemen want me to at least try to, it's
No,
not.
it's pretty
probably
rough.
A couple 100 feet long. I mean, I could probably put something in there to get by. Even if it's stone, it's gotta be a whole lot better, but the only thing is you start one, then you're gonna do
Where do you go?
50 other
Yeah.
ones kind of thing, but I have some old millings I could put in there to just let them know that we'll do it this time but it's not really our responsibility, or I didn't know what you gentlemen wanted me to do, so.
So remind me, if it is plotted as street, but it's not in our inventory, then technically that still is property of the local landowners.
Right.
So
Yes.
they either need to come to a place where they vacate that and ask the county to take over, or we still have this problem.
Oh,
Yeah.
and again, refresh, because I think we had one of these, well, I've been here as well. If we take on that responsibility, then it's our responsibility forever,
Right.
right? And
Yeah.
so I don't know how long that'll take to, is that 3, 4, 5 years down the pike, it's gonna be in the same position it is? Do we want to take on that responsibility, I guess, as a county? I don't know.
Usually what they do is if you take it in, it has to meet our standards, and until by that, it's gonna never meet our standards.
I know.
By a long time, so. It don't matter to me. I mean, if you want me to, I can fix it. It's only like a couple 100 feet long, but I mean, I didn't just let the people know that we'll do it this one time, but from now on, you're gonna have to do it yourself kind of thing.
Are they, do you know, are they aware of?
He's called me a couple years ago and I tried to explain to him that that wasn't, even though it's plotted as street, it wasn't in our inventory. I've told him this more than once, but I mean, it's getting really bad.
Yeah.
What are you
I'm-
gentlemen would like?
I'm okay with them doing it this one time. It looks horrible.
I'll take care of it.
You just said you're
I'll
gonna use millings.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I got used millings out to put in. I'll notify them that, we'll do it this one time, but basically from then on, you got to take care of it yourself, or your home property owners will, whatever, so.
I would put that in the form of a motion, what he said, that we will be glad to help fill that in, but it is private property, and that the landowners will have to care for it from this point forward.
So is that your motion?
That's my motion.
I'll second that. I have a motion by Commissioner Bardsley and a second by Commissioner Wright. Any other questions for Mr. White at this time? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 And then, Mr. Wright was brought up about the 1200 South, 300 West area. There's an open ditch out there. It's actually in Madison County. And the gentleman emailed him, and I've also talked to him that, and I've talked to the surveyor's office, it's not on maintenance. Like I said, it's in Madison County, but there's some trees that's basically on the south side of the ditch, which is south of the county line, that I don't know if it's really ours to take care of or not, but I'm gonna try to see if I can get a hold of the homeowner and see if we can remove the trees or not, kind of thing, so.
Have you reached out to Madison County at all?
No, I just trying to figure out who actually owns the land. Talked to the surveyor and they're not, they said they don't have it on ditch assessment either, so they're not really worried about it kind of thing.
Yeah.
So,
I didn't know it was Madison County.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Madison County, and to talk to Jim a little bit about it, and he said the same thing. It's not even on our county maintenance, so it's really, but I was gonna see if the homeowner would allow us to remove the trees so they could at least see to the east, was where it's blocked.
And technically that protects our road.
Right, but that's what I said. It's kind of real vague because we're 20 foot from the center. Well, then there's a creek that's, probably 75 foot clear back to the trees. So I don't know if the homeowner don't have a problem with us removing them, we'll see if we can take them out. So that's all I have. Unless you gentlemen.
I don't believe so. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll move on to old business, ARPA discussion. We're gonna pass on that this time. There's really nothing new to report. We will move on to new business. PT,
Are you going to rescind the detention center? You had mentioned last time that you were going to make that motion to rescind.
is that the 50? I thought we did that.
We did the 50 in the HVAC.
Did you do, I thought you only did the larger portion, but not the cleaning.
We don't have our minutes in front of us to review.
Yeah, for some reason.
I think we did it.
I'm thinking.
I think you did.
Did it, but now you've got me wondering.
Yeah.
50,000, legal was rescinded, given to RQAW. And then you also rescinded the 700,000 and umbrella that under the 2 million.
Correct.
Renovations.
Which we still need some discussion on that.
But yes,
Yeah.
in the next meeting, we still need to talk to Mr. Sullivan, but we'll have the official spending plan with everything that has been rescinded as well.
Right.
Because things left to be rescinded was included the airport, and I believe there was another item or two.
Milltown Shell.
Milltown Shell.
That's what I was, okay.
Are you comfortable?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Just kind of get down to the wire.
PTA BOA appointment requests. Ms. Wiley.
Yes. It's that time that we'll have to do this every year to have the PETA reassigned or reappointed. Now, Brian Booker has since moved out of the state of Indiana, so I have found Kelly Rock, who is in level 3, which we needed. These are the ones, all the other ones, so Judy Affolter and Richard Cox are already on the PETA board, which the PETA board is Property Tax Assessment Board of Appeals. Sorry. I have to do it on my hand. But they are affiliated between us and the taxpayer if we can come to an agreement on their assessment. That's what they are. So they all need to be affiliated with some kind of real estate.
Can you explain to me, level 3?
Level 3, we have, I have to be a level 3 in order to be assessor. But each one of them have to go through this level. There's 3 certifications in assessing, level 1, level 2, and level 3. And level 3 is one of the highest. And you have to go through 5 different classes in test in order to get that level 3. Level 1 and level 2 is just 1 class, 1 test, but level 3 is 5 different courses, 5 different college courses that you take.
These are all volunteers.
No, they get paid.
Well, they get paid.
Yes, they do get paid. They're, the ones that are certified is by the hour, and I do believe it's $16 an hour. Something like that, $16.10, something like, I forgot to write that down.
And they're called
And then-
in for reviews.
Yes, they, usually 2 to 3 days a year. Yeah. And then the level 3s get $300 per day. But we have to have a level 3 on both parties. And it's nice to have an extra one in case one's not here.
Any other questions for our assessor?
Chair, ready for a motion?
Yes, sir.
I would move that we appoint Kelly Rock as a level 3 certification, Judy Affolter, is that how you pronounce it? Level 3 certification, and Richard Cox to serve.
We have a motion by Commissioner Wright with a second by Commissioner Bardsley to approve Kelly Rock, Judy Affolter, and Richard Cox. Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. You're welcome. Thank you.
Rhonda, are there any other official forms that need to be filled out?
She will have to swear him in the day of the PETA hearing.
Okay.
Other than that, no.
All right, Sheriff Garcia.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
We're just here to, I think you should have received a copy of the memorandum of understanding between us and Eastbrook. Just on a good note, I mean, by all of us a good note, but when we were reviewing the original, we've been with Eastbrook now, I think, for about 9 or 10 years doing the school resource officer full-time. When we're looking at the agreement, apparently they hadn't been paying us enough, so we changed that for the full-time to kind of match what they should be paying us. But we're also, our main request is for a new position as a part-time school resource officer that will be paid for by Eastbrook. They've received a grant to do that. What they're going to do, they're going to keep the full-time school resource officer working at the high school and middle school, and the part-timer will work at the elementary school. So they'll have both the elementaries and the high school covered. The individual that'll be working the part-time position is a Tier 1 certified police officer. And he will start on the 28th if you guys approve this. The council at their last meeting approved the position for the funding for it. So I'm just asking for you to approve this part-time position for school resource officer.
And I take it that Mr. Persinger's taking a look at this?
Yes.
Everything's good to go, right? Yep.
I would move to approve the sheriff's request for the additional part-time.
Yes, sir.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Bardsley with a second by Commissioner Wright to approve the part-time SRO officer. Any other questions for Sheriff Garcia? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Thank you, Jim. I do want to update you on something real quick. We did apply for a Norfolk Southern Police grant that has been approved for us to purchase a new drone. So I think we'll have to bring that before you guys to get that approved. I just got to get with Angie and figure out how to do some of the paperwork that they've asked us for. So I will be bringing that to you pretty soon to get that done. So.
Sheriff, real quick question. So is there an SRO officer in every county school except Madison Grant?
Yes. Now, Oak Hill has one, but he's at the high school and he travels back and forth to the elementary. This is the first one that we've had that's actually going to work just at the elementary school. But yeah, Madison Grant does not have them. We have been in talks with them since last year trying to figure out a way to get them one. And
Is it a money issue with them?
well, I think they decided to spend their grant money on other things, cameras and security items such as that. And so I think we're moving in the right direction with them.
Okay. Thank you. Vacation of Public Way Younts. Mr. Certain.
Okay. Very good. Thank you. With you.
Thank you, sir.
Is that good? This is the whole thing? Okay, so there's just one. Yes, let's see here. Hang on just a second. Whoa, I'm sorry. Well, you got that one. Okay. That's that one. That's that. There we go. There you go. There we go.
Got it figured out?
Yeah, 2 pages, and then I think this is something that we, maybe, let's see the ordinance.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Joe Certain. I'm attorney. Sound very kind of yes, we represent Amber Yount's petitioner here, who is a adjoining property owner to the proposed area that we're asking to be vacated. This is basically a right of way that's used only by the Ms. Johnson, her family, and the adjoining property on the other side, Holmes, who has been in discussion about this with Ms. Johnson, and there is no objection or problem. Those 2 property owners are actually the only one that use this. It goes no place. So it was apparently probably erroneously paved not too long ago. But prior to that, it was just open land on which the property owners, the houses in the homes used to access their homes. So what we're asking is that this be vacated because it is of no value to the public, not used by the public, hasn't been, and probably can't be because it goes nowhere. So these drawings by Randy Miller for you. If they have any questions about it, I can't answer, but he can. So we're asking that the ordinance be adopted. We've presented a proposed general ordinance to vacate this property if you so desire. We appreciate it.
Sure. So I take it that this was probably put in as the original subdivision, and this was going to be an extension of this subdivision if they decided to do that, correct?
I don't know. It is part of Cook Estates, but it goes no place.
Yeah. I'm sure that's probably the reason it's put in.
Is that what you were assuming there, Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Yeah. And then when it comes to utilities, there's no problem with any utilities. Have we contacted the utilities to let them know the vacation?
They've been apprised, and there's no objection. The utility easements, if any, are preserved.
Okay. Very straightforward to me.
I think so.
It's a public hearing, you just need to open it up, see if there's any pro or con
Okay.
to it. Since it's a public hearing.
Okay. So open it up to the public to speak. If anybody in the public wishes to speak on this matter, please step to the podium, state your name and address, pro or con. Hearing, seeing none.
Do you have proper?
We have, over here, that's what. And my question, probably we haven't had Kyle take a look at this yet, probably not.
He is not, to my knowledge.
So I would say we approve it.
With the, so is that a resolution or is that a ordinance?
It's written as an ordinance.
That is an ordinance. And so that ordinance number would be 8. The chair's ready for a motion, so not hearing any public comment.
There's been no public comments, so yeah, we'll move on and entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I would move that we pass, this is general ordinance number 8, for approval.
Second that.
Pending legal review.
Yeah, excuse me, pending legal review.
So we have a motion by Commissioner Wright with a second by Commissioner Bardsley to approve ordinance number 8, which would be vacation of public way, pending attorney's approval. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions or discussion for Mr. Certain? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. So moved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Cunningham, court reform grant request.
Good morning.
Morning.
So we're here to request the application for a court reform grant. This is a grant from the Indiana Supreme Court, from the Judicial Administration. They make these grants available every year. The last one that we applied for was in 2023 for courthouse security. They have 3 categories that you can apply for. You can apply for courthouse security, which we did. Also, 2 areas of innovation. One that's for innovative collaboration, and the other one is to advance innovation in courtroom technology. And that's the one that we're going to apply for this time. There's a limit of $40,000 unless there are some extenuating circumstances with it that also require in-kind or other matches from the county. Our hope is that it will be 40,000 or under. But if there are some dire needs that I think Marcus can talk more about the technology side of that than I can. But the our intent is to update all the courtrooms, audio and visual equipment. We're having some issues with feedback and some other issues that are related to recording that we want to get done. And Marcus, like I said, can speak to any of those if you have it. But really what we're here is get permission to apply for it. And then it goes through a reimbursement process. So as soon as we get whatever it would be in a bill, that's part of the grant if it's approved. Then we send that to Angie, and then we get a disbursement then from the state. I think our hope is that there's a quarterly report required on each of them, but our hope is to get everything spent and purchased and taken care of in that first quarter. And so after that's done, then there's an annual report requirement for it, which I'll do all the paperwork and stuff on it. But Angie will hopefully then take care of that financial side of it, of reimbursing the county when we get that from the state. So answer any questions you might have. Marcus, I don't know if there's anything else you felt like needed to be shared on it, or.
No, I mean, really, the only other things we did, we're working with Gina from CTI. They're out of Illinois, but we're also working with Dave Stratton. He's with ABI Systems out of Indy. So we have both those companies right now. They're working on getting us different pricing. So the goal is to have different quotes, one, and that's in the $40,000 price range of the grant, and then to have other quotes that are outside of it. If it does go higher than that, then that way, we can, if need be, go to the council and say, hey, we just need this much extra to get the extra stuff needed for the courtrooms, so they have everything they need.
So the difficulty that we have if we go beyond the 40,000 is that the grant is due next Monday by 4 p.m. So I don't know if we have any, if it does go beyond that, do we have any discretionary funds, or do you just want us to say it's a 40,000 hard stop and we'll do what we can, because we can't get to we obviously can't get council approval with that short a deadline on the grant. So I really.
So this will go in, excuse me, so this will go into the 25 year.
Correct.
When all this is done.
Correct.
You have some money in your account, correct?
I do, but I didn't have any money accounted for this project. So any extra I would have to get from the council. So I'd have to work with them on that. So that's why with the vendors, I told them, I said, hey, if there's stuff that, we can upgrade for, 40,000 for all the courtrooms, let's have that in there. Then let's have an option that says, hey, here's everything. And, then that way, if it's only a little off, then I can request additional funds from the council at that point.
Does the judicial side have any funds earmarked for anything like that? I know we provide the building.
Right.
This is above and beyond the building.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think so.
I know Judge Spitzer, he didn't mention anything when we talked with him last week.
No. I think if they do, it's minimal stuff like, $1,000 for a laptop or, something.
Okay.
It's not what we would need if we were to go way above the 40,000.
I'll direct over here to Madam Auditor. What do you see a problem with this? Should we put a hard stop on it at 40?
Do you anticipate it exceeding the 40,000 by a lot? I mean, do you have an idea?
It's hard to say. I could see it easily going over that a little bit, but by how much? I mean, I could see it going over probably maybe 20 grand.
So my take is, we could do the up to 40,000. And then if it goes above that and stuff like that, you just address it at that time.
That's what I was thinking, especially since we don't really
Yeah,
know.
and I agree with you, Marcus, to go ahead and get what is the essential in that 40 grand that we're having a problem with, whether it's feedback from PA systems or whatever, or if they need a better video monitor system or whatever. I would go ahead and say, that's what you want in the very first estimate, and then what could go over, and here it is, and then you approach the council next year with it.
Right. Yep.
Is that all right to you?
Yep, sounds good to me.
Do you agree?
I agree.
We've got two questions just for clarification. Help me again on the in-kind. Do we have to do that financially, or can somebody's salary parallel that? Or what's the?
Yeah, it has to
in-kind?
fit, it has to fit whatever the project is. So you can't take, for instance, Marcus's salary as part of IT and that part of it, include it into the in-kind and then bump it over that amount. It has to be something specifically designated to that project. And that's the difficulty of the grant from that side of it too. They do have a section in there for personnel to include, but when we put that in there, that still doesn't get us to where we need to be for the equipment. Does that make sense?
It does. I'm just want to make sure our bases are covered. The other thing is, would any, take some digging again, but would any of our unrestricted opioid funds be able to be used toward that?
I don't know. That's a good thought. I'm thinking outside the box, whether that would be the problem would start to come from it is we've got the grant due on the 28th. So, we could explore that after the original grant submission to see about using any of that. Certainly there's unrestricted dollars that are a part of that we could use. We just have to meet with the group and then get it approved by
Just a thought.
approved by the board. I think we meet again in December is our next meeting. I certainly will explore every, opportunity that we can to be able to do that. The advantage that we had in 2023 is that Marcus did have money already budgeted in some particular accounts that we were able to use. So I think it was 80,000, I think. Not that we had to come up with the county, but do you remember?
Yeah, well, I had to go up for an additional appropriation for some of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know we saved the county over 80,000 because essentially the grant covered the cost of the equipment, and then
You guys picked up the maintenance agreements.
it's like for the licensing for the
Yeah.
cameras. That's what we covered.
Yeah.
Yeah, correct.
But certainly we'll explore, whatever avenues we can when it goes over that, but and I don't know if it ends up being just all equipment, we may have to wait on a particular courtroom or something, and
Right.
if we have to. So I'll let you tell them who's going to get shorted.
Oh, I'll let them pick.
How's that?
Anything else? So we just need to give an approval for the grant. I'll entertain a motion if you gentlemen don't have any other discussion or questions.
I'm good.
This is a consent, or do we need a motion?
I think because we're going for grant funds, we need a motion.
Motion.
I would be happy to make that motion based on the presentation of our Mr. Cunningham, that we move forward with the court reform grant request as presented.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Barnsley, second by Commissioner Wright. If there's no other questions or discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you going after grant money.
Oh,
Yeah, I'll send you that stuff here in a little bit.
okay.
Street. Emergency preparedness grant request.
Typically, I come to you in May and June for this. The CDC was late getting it out. This is the preparedness grant that we've received every year since 2003. I'm just asking permission to apply for it for the 2004-2005 grant cycle. It's $25,000. It is a reimbursable grant, so as we pay out salary, we file a claim and get the finances back. I'm glad to answer any questions you have about it.
Yes, this is something that they've done every year.
This is more or less housekeeping.
Yep.
They're ready for a motion?
Yes, sir.
I'll make a motion that we allow the Grant County Health Department to go after the $25,000 grant for the 24-25 cycle.
I'll second that.
Motion by Commissioner Wright, second by Commissioner Bardsley to approve the emergency preparedness grant request. If there's no other questions or discussions, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. You're welcome.
I'm going to stay here for the next one.
You're on again.
So Marcus has been kind enough to come up with Schneider Geospatial to build a food safety establishment registration and inspection program. And I am asking your permission to enter this contract in the amount of $6,320 for them to be able to do that. We have Health First Indiana funds that will pay for this. Kyle Persinger had looked at the contract twice, and I believe they've addressed all of his concerns. So I'm just asking your permission to enter into this contract. Do you have anything else you wanted to add?
No, I mean, you about hit the.
Marcus did great legwork for us on this. I appreciate it.
And you said Mr. Persinger had
Right, he
Approve the
sent it
contract.
back once with some concerns. He sent it back twice with concerns, but they emailed late Friday that they're willing to strike the last two statements he had question about, so.
And so the contract was for what again? I'm sorry.
For them, you mean for the amount?
The
or-
amount?
The amount is, hang on, let me get my glasses. $320.
Okay. Gotcha.
And it's to build a food inspections program. They're still doing it on paper forms. It would just be so much easier to have a program that.
Chair, ready for a motion?
Yes, sir.
I would make a motion that we approve the contract since we've had a legal representation take a look at it for the food inspection program to the tune of $6,320.
Second.
motion by Commissioner Wright, second by Commissioner Bardsley to approve the professional services agreement with Schneider. Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
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 Thank you very much.
You're welcome, thank you. Broadband presentation.
Morning.
Morning.
I'm Fred Price, Mainstream Fiber Networks. We're out of Brown County, Nashville, Indiana company. Currently, we're in about 15 counties throughout the state and growing rapidly. We probably will be in about another 10 counties by this time next year. We've been working with the commissioners here on identifying areas in the county that are underserved and that, again, our fiber could help connect the entire county. And do you have the
slide I sent you.
slide? We have a slide of the county that shows the areas that are being serviced right now with cable and also with fiber.
What I had it on here, maybe not.
Okay, in the meantime, what we're looking at to fund this project, it's a $10 million project. Mainstream Fiber is going to invest $8.2 million in the county. We're looking at a BEAD funding, which is a government funding through the state for $1.8 million. We're not looking to ask the county for any cash input. We are looking for a letter of support from the county that will be included with our packet to the state for our BEAD funding application, which will be submitted at the end of this month. maybe early next month, and that's roughly timing on that. The awards will probably be in December sometime. It's going to take them about a month, month and a half to. Again, it's projection, hasn't been set in concrete yet, so that's what we're predicting. Hopefully what you can see here, and I have a hard copy map if you need to look at it closer. Oops.
Like I said, I have to share the screen here.
Okay.
There we go.
There we go. Well, the green area and the actually orange area, if you will, it shows concentration in the center of the county. And then kind of the U shape around that is where we have identified, the state has identified approximately 1,300 that are underserved or unserved in the county. And the area that we have identified there is probably close to 6,500 households that we could service with our installation. It's probably hard to see, but the blue lines that are going along the streets there that you can see, that's where we will have our fiber installation. We will spread out from that area as we progress as needed, but the blue lines that you see are actually the fiber installation. That actually represents 166 miles of fiber installation. If approved by the state, we do get the BEAD money. The council is kind enough to help us with the letter of support. We would like to see construction on this beginning early next year. We have met before with background information on what we have done and can do. We have a very strong ag support for the farmers. We're working with Purdue University right now, and we have programs that we're working with them to increase the ag support for the farmers. We're interested in putting up hot spots around the areas to allow them to access their GPS for their farming, and then also for emergency services. I'm open to questions. I know we've talked a lot about it, but I'd be more than glad to answer any questions that you have.
Just kind of asking questions again. I think that we had talked about, but I just like clarification. You indicated that your company was a little bit more ag friendly than some of the bigger companies that just have no desire to be in the agricultural community, but pretty much are looking at metropolitan areas that they're targeting. Is that fair?
That's what we've seen. I don't know if they have any plans in that area themselves, but I do know that all we do is rural communities. We don't get into the metropolitan areas at all. So saying that, yes, we are very strongly supportive of farmers in rural communities.
Again, this is at no expense to the county.
That's correct. Yes, sir.
Mainstream is investing 8.2.
8.2 million.
1.8 will come from the
We're looking
BEAD.
for 1.8 from BEAD money. And to get that money, we need a letter of support from the council, or the commissioner, I'm sorry.
Has Mr. Persinger read this letter? Justin, do we know?
Just so you know, that letter does not obligate you to anything. All it's saying is you're willing to work with us should we get the BEAD information, and it does not restrict you from working with anybody else.
I'll kind of speak up here just quick because I've had several meetings about this. Mainstream really, I've met with some other companies that's come our way. Mainstream by far is actually servicing more territory than anybody else was showing us. Companies who are taking a look at this stuff are looking at their bottom line as well. And so their money comes back from users and users. And so We've talked about the fees that they'll charge. Their fees are very, very reasonable, and they even have some very low fees if people can't quite afford it, where children on the e-learning days and things like that are very, very low. And so for them to go ahead and do this whole U around the county is incredible. Like I say, I saw other maps where they wanted to kind of cherry pick the area that they were going to do because that's where the most revenue that they can get because it's so populated. And these guys have come in and really kind of went down roads as only 2 or 3 houses. They're still going to serve them. And it's the unserved and the underserved that's going to really, really benefit from this. The other thing, pointing it out, it is fiber, which is kind of like superhighway when it comes to data. So what they're going to be providing is for the larger consumers, they can go very, very high transfer rates, very high. And then the other thing I just want to bring out is the letter swings a lot of weight with who's deciding the BEAD application request. And so if we gave a letter, kind of like we did in the first round of things, to everyone who came before us, it really it doesn't really do anybody any good because we're just kind of putting it out there shotgun. If we do this, correct me if I'm wrong, that if we are saying this is the company that we have looked at and chosen and things like that because of the area that they want to serve, this goes a long way with those people deciding who's going to get the money. And so the only other thing that I really want to bring up also is there is a request that we do IDZ, is that correct?
Yes, correct.
Correct? And the IDZ would allow them, and this is the reason they're coming in at no cost to us, would give them the opportunity to go ahead and do this knowing that they won't be taxed, or our users or our citizens won't be taxed on their bill, correct? For like here in town, there's a tax that I have to pay on that when I pay my bill. Out here, there's not going to be any county tax. That's what they're asking for. The IDZ stands for
Infrastructure Development.
Infrastructure Development Zone.
It's for utility companies.
Yeah. So, and I think that's for 10 years.
I believe that's correct.
Yeah. So that's kind of what's in front of us, whether we would allow that or not.
And that will come later after the BEAD. Approvals.
Yeah. But that's the reason the company has really stepped up to the plate and said, the investment will be over the 10 years for the county, but it's really not going to cost us anything because we're not going to collect taxes on it. Consider it a little bit of a tax abatement or a TIF or whatever you want to call it.
Purdue University did a study on broadband fiber, found that for every dollar the counties invest in broadband, they get $4 back. It just expands everything from farming to industry to education. It just goes on and on and on and on.
So the other thing I'll point out, because we talked about ag, they are at the height that the farmers are wanting. I think it's 18 feet.
18 feet.
18 feet.
Yes, sir.
So that should be in good shape. And then there's a lot of talk, about wanting to go underground with everything. They can't afford to do that. It costs them too much money. So there will be a lot of poles. I think you guys are going to install how many poles?
Well, we don't know yet, but 80% of our installations are on poles. 20% is underground for various reasons. When needed, as needed, we'll install our own poles at our cost.
So I kind of give you a little bit of more of a background of what's in front of us.
Yeah. Just a question, is the IDZ is going forward with the BEAD request, is it dependent on the IDZ?
No.
Because technically, as I look through this ordinance, we have to have a public hearing on that, and we haven't advertised for a public hearing on this.
Okay.
So we will have to do that as,
But we are looking at it as a contribution to do the project.
understand.
Yeah, but we'll have to have a public hearing
Yes.
to make that in the form of a motion and pass it and give people an opportunity to say for or against. So today, you're just looking for us to.
Letter of support.
A letter of support is what's before us today, and then the IDZ will be a little later. I just wanted to make sure everybody understood what was going to be
Okay,
coming at us.
just to reiterate, it doesn't commit you to anything, and it doesn't restrict you to anything. All it does is saying you're supporting mainstream fiber on our application, if we should get it.
Any other questions?
If I may, I would move to approve the letter of support for the BEAD board, as well as to advertise an ordinance for the establishment of an infrastructure development zone in Grant County, Indiana, and to do that as quickly as advertising will allow us, whether it is I would say, second meeting of November or the first meeting of December.
I'll second that.
Motion by Commissioner Bardsley, second by Commissioner Wright. Any other questions or discussion at this time? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. It is approved.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Cell phone allowance request, Mr. Sadoff.
Just some housekeeping items. This is for IT's newest employee, Emily Henry. This will put her on to level 2, $105 a month, if approved.
Any questions or concerns, gentlemen?
So you're ready for a motion?
Yes, sir.
I would move that we approve the request for cellular phone service or allowance for Emily Henry.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Wright, second by Commissioner Bardsley. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Commissioner Wright, you have the next two.
I do. I tell you what, we're going to skip over number 9
Okay.
and go to number 10 if we may.
Sure.
If that would be all right.
Yep.
With everybody.
Yep.
So coming up this particular weekend, we've got a very interesting weekend ahead of us. This is going to be a special weekend for a individual who was not recognized for his heartfelt desire to serve the country he lived in. And there's going to be a proper burial and recognition this weekend. So thought it would be fitting if we would do a resolution through the county commissioners. And I'll go ahead and read this so everybody understands what this resolution is about. Whereas in accordance with the Army Reorganization Act of 1866, passed after the end of the Civil War, African American men were allowed to serve in segregated units of the United States Army. And whereas the first African Americans to serve in the United States Army during peacetime came to be known as Buffalo Soldiers. Whereas throughout their history, Buffalo Soldiers made many significant military contributions and fought to preserve and protect the United States. And whereas Private Gerald Dixon, who was born in Seymour, Indiana, was a lifelong resident of Marion, Grant County, Indiana. Excuse me. Whereas Dixon served with distinction in the 24th Infantry Regiment, 3rd Battalion, and a Buffalo Soldier Unit, which was stationed at a segregated camp in Houston, Texas, rather than deployed to Europe for World War I. And whereas the soldiers faced harsh discrimination, leading to tensions with the community. And on August 23rd, 1917, a confrontation erupted between the soldiers, citizens, and law enforcement, resulting in a tragic riot. Whereas fueled by a history of racial discrimination, the riot claimed 19 lives, and soldiers of the 24th Infantry were tried and convicted, with 19 executed and others sentenced to varying terms. 13 of the executed soldiers were hanged just 2 days after their trial without any chance for appeal or notification to their families. And whereas Dixon was sentenced to life imprisonment at Leavenworth, his sentence was commuted to 20 years by J. Edgar Hoover. After serving nearly 7 years, he was released on parole. And whereas Dixon was haunted by this injustice he endured during his life and passed away on October 27th, 1967, and whereas Dixon was subjected to racial prejudice but continued to serve honorably and bravely in the United States Army and to fulfill the duties conferred on him with pride and distinction. Resolved, the Board of Commissioners of Grant County, Indiana honors the dedication and courage of Private Gerald Dixon and recognizes the legacy and contribution that Private Gerald Dixon made to the United States Army and the citizens he served, all of which is approved, if we choose so, by the Board of Commissioners of Grant County, Indiana, this 21st day of October 24th.
Well done.
And so I'd like to put this out in form of a resolution that we would vote on. And if we decide to do that, we'll be making a presentation to them this weekend at their event.
I would move to approve the resolution. What is?
10.
Resolution 10, with the notation that those members who were unjustly incarcerated, such as Mr. Dixon, were cleared, and he is cleared of all wrongdoing. He was not afforded at the time the rights to be buried in the National Cemetery, and he is to be exhumed from his current resting place and re-entombed at the National Cemetery here in Marion. I believe this weekend is the beginning of next. And to his family, we congratulate them on this accomplishment and express our gratitude and support.
I'll second that.
Yeah, well said. Can't wait for all that. You made that as a form of motion. We have a second. Motion by Commissioner Bardsley, second by Commissioner Wright to approve resolution number 10. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. It's approved. Do we sign that now or we want to do that afterwards?
Oh, we can do it afterwards.
Okay.
If you want to.
All right, you have something else on your plate this morning. Number 9.
Oh, I was going to go ahead. Oh, I could go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and do that.
Did you have something else you wanted
I
to
was
do?
going to wait until next time because I'll have something like this again.
Okay, do we want to table that?
Yeah, let's table that.
Okay.
And we'll hit it at our next meeting.
Okay.
That's all right.
Yep. All right, that concludes new business. Gentlemen, do we have anything else in the order that you need to bring up or discuss? Hearing none, we will move on to public comment. We are going to keep public comment brief just due to the fact that I have an appointment here in a little bit that I have to get to. At this time, the public is invited to speak before the board. Please approach the podium when recognized by the president and state your name, address, and concerns or comments. No complaints, accusations, or name calling regarding personnel can be allowed during this public discussion time. A time of 3 minutes will be given. If more than one person is represented for a group, only one spokesperson will be heard. It is expected that professionalism and courtesy is displayed at all times during the public comments portion of the meeting. Is there anybody in the public that would wish to speak at this time?
How y'all doing?
Good.
Good, sir. How are you?
I'm Dwayne Rogers. My address is 3545 South Boots Street in Marion. Did y'all receive my email?
I haven't.
I think we did.
When, I don't know. I haven't checked.
Was it last week, Mr. Rogers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think you asked, what was that about?
Oh, okay. Go ahead, sir.
Go ahead and fill us in.
Yes. I would like to still have my poster board set out around the county building, the court building.
Okay, when?
Probably about either this week, no later than Monday.
Okay, so,
In the content of the posters and stuff like that?
What do you mean by that?
what's going to be on the posters?
What's on the posters?
That's why I sent y'all the email.
This is a public meeting. We're just trying to
Yeah.
It's
fill
about
people in.
getting people to sign up for a new system to be in place.
And you said you want to do that on the following Monday?
Yeah.
Okay. From, what, are we like, not from like 9 to 4 on Monday?
Yeah. But if it be this week, can I update y'all?
We need a definite time or a date. We're not just going to give,
Hey, Monday.
so Monday?
Monday?
Yeah.
The 28th.
Justin, you see any issues with the 28th?
Other than early voting.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think the only criteria is that he has to remain with the posters as they're displayed.
So it's just posters, you don't need any kind of electricity or anything like that? Okay.
Just need to post the boards and that's it.
So if I'm understanding right, you want permission to set your poster boards up at the courthouse on Monday, October 28th from 9 to 4? Does that sound right?
But it's not gonna be for no one day.
But it'll be for whatever we say it is.
They decide that.
Yeah, the commissioners make that decision. How long were you thinking you wanted it out there?
Well, how many people stay in Grant County?
Pardon me?
How many people stay in Grant County?
66,000's in Grant County.
Well, I'm gonna need the majority of them to sign up, so that's gonna take more than one day.
Okay. I'm not willing to approve more than one day. I'm willing to approve Monday, but if there's an issue with that, then maybe we should come back and discuss it at a later time.
But I need some more days. About 2 weeks. Can it be 2 weeks?
I'm not approving 2 weeks, no.
So what's my time limit?
What have you've done this in the past, correct?
Right. I wasn't having no problems until you became president. Serious, real talk.
Well, I've heard that before, so not the first time, but. Do you remember what we've done in the past, Commissioner Barsley?
I'm trying to remember, we had 2 or 3 days at the most. I really don't remember, Mr.
No,
Rogers.
y'all never give me no time limit. And it definitely wasn't no
I
one
think
day.
we did.
I find it hard to believe the previous commissioners did not give you a time limit. And I find it hard to believe that they allowed it for 2 weeks.
But what's the problem? It ain't no problem. Ain't nobody gonna get hurt or nothing like that.
Sir, we're not saying that. We're not implying that there's an issue or that it's just basically you're asking to set up camp on our courthouse.
Right.
2 weeks, that's.
It's the same thing with the concession stand. It'd be a concession stand be out there. They don't be out there for no one day.
I think they are, aren't they?
One day.
They be out there for one day.
Yeah.
One day.
Yeah, we approve it for one day. We normally don't do multiple days, but depending on what, I would be amicable for 2 days. I'm not trying to be hardcore, but 2 weeks, absolutely not.
But what's the problem? Even if I say 2 weeks, what would be the problem for 2 weeks? What's wrong with 2 weeks?
And we just don't do that. So it's just it's too much time out there. And I'm not gonna sit here and debate you. I'm not gonna argue with you, so.
But it's too much time for me, but not y'all.
That's your choice. You're the one here asking for permission. We're not the ones, we're not the ones that asked you to come in.
Well, y'all been giving me problems for some years. And and I'm ready to address that problem around the court building. I don't have no protection, so I came up with another type of protection for me and everybody else. And once they sign up, that's it, they protected.
What are they signing up for?
Another system to be in place. Y'all system don't protect me. I can't call the police. The prosecutor don't prosecute me, don't do nothing for me. And this been going on for some years.
What to do with it?
Considering that we have voting here for another 2+ weeks, I think that congestion at the courthouse, we've already had complaints about it. So I think that 1 or 2 days is adequate for now, and
Hold on.
can always come back.
What complaints you been having about it?
Not about you, sir.
Oh, all right.
About other traffic problems that we're having in the courthouse because of the voting that's going on.
Well, I'm about to reveal myself. I'm a messenger from God. I'm a prophet, and I need all this to be out there. I want the public to know that I'm my presence, and I'm here to help.
We could do 2 days. We could do the 28th and the 29th.
I need more.
Assuming that the commissioners will approve that, but
So you can explain to me why you can't give me more than 2 days?
I think Commissioner Barsley basically said it's a traffic issue. We got a lot of people coming in and out, due to early voting.
Right, but I'm not gonna block them from coming in or out.
Okay, 2 days or it's nothing. This seems to be carrying on too long. You seem to be kind of argumentative and confrontational.
If I wait till after the election, can I get more days in?
I'll say no to 2 weeks. I'm just telling you that right now. I'll say no to a week. I would think whatever statement that you're wanting to make, I would think you should be able to do that in a day or two.
No, there's too many people here, and there's don't be that much traffic going in that court building. So I got to go public, I got to go on Facebook and everything else to get people to come down here and sign up.
Okay. I guess I don't know so you're not okay with the 2 days then?
Well, if I don't got no other choice, but I'm not okay with it. So is that gonna be Monday and Tuesday then? Is that what we're looking at?
I would say Monday and Tuesday, October 28th and the 29th from 9 to 4.
If he's not in agreement with it, I wouldn't do anything.
Well, that's what, I guess that's kind of where I'm at. So
That's not your opinion.
It's
he,
job to advise them.
Not yours.
It's my job to advise them.
it is his job, absolutely. He's the county administrator, so he has just as much say here as anybody else.
Well, I need this service to be in effect, and I gave y'all the county ordinance, but neither one of y'all was seated. So can I give it to y'all again?
County ordinance.
Yes, I got a county ordinance, a city ordinance, and I wrote a bill for Congress.
He introduced that to the last set of commissioners, and we did not take any action on it.
Okay, so. I don't think there's
Can
a
I
need.
present the county ordinance again?
I don't think there's a need for that at this time. So this kind of, in my opinion, this has kind of ran its course. We'll either do the 2 days or none.
All right, 2 days.
All right, thank you, sir. Anybody else? All right, the next county Board of Commissioners meeting is November 4th. That is a Monday, and we are in recess.